Hey guys, welcome to I'm Just a Fan. It's your host Ben, and today we're going to be recapping the game that just occurred today. Man City's not necessarily a statement win, but they won 2-0 against Chelsea, and let's get right into it. So first, I'm going to be talking about my first half analysis, and then eventually jumping into the second half. These are just some points that I saw throughout the game, and let me know what you think about them down in the comments, and you can comment what you think. And just remember, if you like this type of video, give it a like. If you like sports content, subscribe. I'm going to continue to be making this for the NFL, MLB, Premier League, and the NBA once it comes back. I'm going to continue to be making a ton of content. So if you're interested in this stuff and you like my type of format, then stick around and subscribe. So first, from what I noticed was, again, just in the beginning of the game, Haaland making his presence felt. Made a nice little move against Cucurella. Ended up getting the last laugh on him because Cucurella has been kind of trolling him all summer. But Haaland scored, and it was honestly inevitable. I know a lot of people were kind of down on him going into this season compared to last year. It's not, and when I say down, it's not that they were necessarily down on him, like actually rating him bad. It's just more he was kind of starting to get hit with that, big name or a small game merchant. He was not really making as many big goals versus bigger teams and in bigger games, kind of just showing up in more of the smaller games. But I thought him scoring within those first 20 minutes was huge just for him and the psyche of Manchester City to go up. And it put a lot of pressure on Chelsea and kind of just created that feeling of, oh, here we go again for Chelsea. Oh, it's another start for the Blues. Like, they've been struggling, and just seeing them go down that early was, in my opinion, a huge blow to their confidence. So another two things I noticed more about City just in general. Number one, Doku was fantastic today. I thought he was all over the pitch. Either was making runs, making good passes, trying to get the ball into Haaland or other scorers on their team. And overall, I just thought he had a really good game today. I don't even know if Grealish came on at all. I don't think he did. I turned the game off with about 2 to 3 minutes left. But I just thought this was a really big performance from Doku, because at times he did look shaky last year. I'm not saying he looked bad, but thought he did a really good job today for when he came in. The second point I wanted to make was City's press. This shouldn't be anything shocking, but man, that was just fantastic in that first half. Chelsea really could not move the ball with a ton of space. There just wasn't that much left, in my opinion, in the area. So I just wanted to give credit to Pep's tactics and the City defenders for really making it tough on Chelsea. Not saying Chelsea didn't have chances, but there were a ton of times where it just felt like City was just suffocating them with that impressive press. Another thing that stood out to me from the first half, you could even argue in the second half as well. We'll touch on it later. Enzo Fernandez just played like shit today. I thought at times just bad positioning, going down for trying to get a foul when there was none. And really the biggest thing for me today was just the passes that he was putting in. There was one pass, I think, to Jackson. It was just straight up bounced off his chest. What's he supposed to do with a pass like that, especially around a couple defenders already? It just was not a good look for Fernandez. Looking to see if he bounces back. At times I thought he played all right last year, but this was not a great game to start the season. He just looked off and didn't look comfortable in this new system. And overall, about Chelsea's attack, just to finish up at the half, they had a chance but couldn't finish again. I just looked like they were close, but it never looked clinical enough to really be, a serious threat. Like I said, City was putting up pretty good press against them that first half, but there were times where Chelsea had either a really good opportunity in the box or had a decent shot, but either just couldn't finish the shot or, in my opinion, just looked unorganized. A lot of guys just looked sloppy when they were on the ball, and it just looked like it could have used a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the word, looked like it could have been a little bit more precise within the box, just because, again, it wasn't clinical. It wasn't clinical at all, and it's the complete opposite of what you see at Manchester City. So started the second half, just some notes I have. I thought that I don't know exactly when this was, but it was the beginning of the second half. There's a great pass by Palmer, but again, Chelsea couldn't finish. Thought Palmer was all right today. it's not that I necessarily think he was bad. I just didn't think that they got him involved that much in the offense. There really wasn't much for him to do, and I just felt like they kind of neglected getting to him a little bit more. Now, maybe that was due to City's defense against him, but I really just thought he was, I wouldn't say a non-factor today, but at times I just felt like he really wasn't the vocal point of that offense, and he's got to be when he's one of Chelsea's best players. So I think Chelsea need to really look to get him more involved in their next game. There was a point where it was around the 60th to about the 70th-ish, maybe even 80th minute, where Chelsea was just getting into the box, but just could not finish. And it was kind of the definition of this game. It's not that Chelsea necessarily played super bad today. It was more they just, when given that opportunity to take the lead or equalize, that's where all just crumbled. I'll give them credit for keeping it 1-0 to about the 82nd, whatever minute it was. It was late. But at times, it was just like, I really respected their defense. But man, that offensive threat was just so bad. It was just, there was a lot of good there. It was just the finishing was just terrible, and the positioning, getting those balls into their guys in the correct position was pretty atrocious as well. And then Kovacic, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He ended up just having a nice little run at the end of the game. Terrible defending by Caicedo and terrible defending again by Enzo. Didn't even want to go for the ball, and he just had a clean shot at the goal, and it went in, and that pretty much sunk Chelsea. I mean, it was over at that point. It already felt like a really, really hard task for them to come back into the game being down 1-0, but being down 2-0 with that much time left, it was over. I mean, what's even more embarrassing is you could see Chelsea's manager, their owner, Bowley, leaving right after that went in. I don't know if he was just mad that, Kovacic went to City, so it was kind of stabbing him in the back a little bit, but I was like, dude, just not a good look. I just feel like he's not reading the room at all, but that's a whole nother video. And my last point before I wrap this all up was, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, like please do, but I feel like Phil Foden was a ghost today. Just literally was not involved within the offense or was never a real threat, in my opinion. I don't know, I just feel like he didn't really do anything today for City and never really made his presence felt. And I'm kind of curious to see how he bounces back as we progress through the season, because he really didn't have a great Euros. And that kind of started the conversation of, is he more of a system player than an all-around great player that can elevate himself, regardless of the manager he's playing with? Or does he need to be with, a manager like Pep that kind of sets him up, and then that's where he really succeeds? So I think it's more of a little bit in the middle. I think at times he can be a system player, but I also think he is a fantastic player. So we'll just have to see how this season goes and kind of go from there. And yeah, overall, I thought it was a solid game, a little underwhelming just for the hype, especially because it was at Stamford Bridge coming off of last year's 4-4 game. But overall, I thought City looked really good at times. I wouldn't say necessarily bad either. Just their attack didn't really look too threatening at times, but at the same time, they didn't need to be threatening because Chelsea, all they had to do after going up 1-0 was just make sure Chelsea didn't score, and that's exactly what they did. So City looks back and, better than ever, just doing their typical City things. And then Chelsea, I thought there was a lot of promise, but the two things that stood out to me the most are you're going to have to cut a lot of the fat off, aka figure out what to do with some of these players. Raheem Sterling didn't even start today. I don't even think he was on the bench. He's now awaiting, I think his camp made comments about his situation, so we'll see what happens with him potentially in the transfer market. I thought Neto looked all right for Chelsea as well in his time, but again, it just looks like these guys need to mesh a little bit more, and that attack really needs to fully kind of figure out how to play with each other, because once they do that, it looks like they can be a little bit better, because I thought their defense was all right today, but it's just, again, I've been saying it the entire video, that attack within the box was just not clinical, and to be one of the better teams in the Premier League, you got to finish those chances. So we'll see what happens with Chelsea, but overall, great game, or I wouldn't say great game, but good game, and I'm just glad the Premier League is back. If you like this video, give it a like. If you enjoy this type of content, subscribe. I'll be making a lot more videos in the next couple of days, and yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace, guys.